Welcome to Snetterton. It's round 3 of the Thundersport GP Championships for 2017, and now time for the Dunlop Thundersport Superteens for 2017. Of course, this is the first year where other manufacturers are entered as well, not just Aprilias. We have the Kawasaki's and KTM's out there, and so far this season the Kawasaki's have been on top. However, here this weekend we have the Aprilias that are certainly up there. Charlie Farrer, 102 on the Kawasaki, is the leader of the championship overall, but you can see on the front row there 2 Aprilias and a KTM. So rather bizarrely, Snetterton has really mixed things up a bit. Now then, leading into turn 1 is number 78 Matt Bauer. He's on that Aprilia 450R, which is the restricted version of the 450. I have to say, when I first saw that these classes were all being mixed up, I just couldn't really see how it was going to be a level playing field between the Kawasaki's, the KTM's, the 125cc production Aprilias and the 450R, but how wrong can you be? We've seen a few great races so far, and it's nice to see that there is a home for all of these youngsters that are racing. Of course, a lot of these youngsters are also racing at various different levels as well, some at British Championship, some at European level. But Matt Bauer, 78 it is, that has the lead over number 7, Cade Fervet. Finally, after a couple of years of Cade racing in this championship, we've been told that we've been pronouncing his name wrong for the last 24 months. So we have been kindly informed that the Fervet family, who hail from South Africa, Fervet is actually a Dutch origin name, grandfather is Dutch. Sorry about that. We've got it right now, so let's hope we keep it that way. In third place, just behind Fervet, is number 13. That is Jake Clark. Charlie Farrer then led the championship coming into Snetterton from Scott Ogden. Both of those on Kawasaki 300s. A packed pit all there watching these Thundersport Superteens. Matt Bauer, who leads this race, number 78, was third coming into the weekend, but results already having a bit of a shake-up then. Cade Fervet, blimey, this is going to be a long day, isn't it? They're in second place on that KTM. KTM so far this season has been slightly down compared to the Kawasaki's and the Aprilias, so it's nice to see that we have a KTM up there. Further back we see number 97 there, Lawrence Edgley, who's actually out there on a Yamaha. I forgot to mention the Yamahas, because you can of course race those Yamahas as well. Some really good platforms actually for these youngsters to race. The Thundersport Superteens of course being one, the Superteen class for decades now has been a brilliant platform for riders to enter, but you look across the board now at British Championship, they've got the European Talent Cup. Over at World Superbike there's now the Supersport 300 class as well, where you can race the Yamahas, the Hondas or the Kawasaki's, and now this British Talent Cup that'll be launched in 2018, where, well, I mean, what an invention that has been. All you've got to do is enter. You haven't got to have been of a certain standard. You enter, you will turn up to Silverstone, you'll be judged on the day, and if you get in, you race for free in the British Talent Cup. And all you've got to do is bring your leathers and pay for your own flights. Can't be bad, and you'll be racing in the MotoGP World Championships and World Superbike Championships. A chance for British talent to come through. Chance for South African talent as well. Cade Fervet there taps his rear seat unit, as we see so often these days, and says stick behind me, and waggles his finger around. I'm not really sure what he's saying there, other than stick with me, let's try and chase Matt Bauer down at the front. These youngsters don't tend to really listen to instructions like that, but Fervet at the moment in second place, trying all he can to close down Matt Bauer. His younger brother is in the field as well, Luke Fervet, so look out for him, number 6. They're both out there on XG Group KTMs, and there is the move. Great stuff then from Cade Fervet, and Matt Bauer has been challenged in the early stages. He may well have been on pole, and now he's been given something to think about. So a series that has been so far dominated by the Kawasaki's. We turn up to Norfolk, and now we have a KTM from 2 Aprilias. It's fair to say there that Jake Clark is really on their heels as well. Number 44 further back is Mitchell Searle, also on a KTM. You can hear the zippy noises of the old Aprilia 125 production motorcycles as well. probably just start to be phased out. They're still a good motorcycle, still more nimble than anything you'll find, and at certain circuits you will see those bikes really going for it. We saw it at Brands, of course, but Snetterton here, probably one of those circuits where the production 125 will not benefit. Matt Bauer comes back through into the lead. You can see a few scuff marks on the side of the Aprilia there of Matt Bauer, where he's obviously been involved in one or two scuffles already here this weekend. But some good racing all the way through the field. Behind the top three, Scott Ogden and Charlie Farrer on the Kawasaki's are trying to keep up. The zippy 125 that you can hear there, of course, is Cameron Hall from Barnsley on the FIS Racing Aprilia. Cameron Hall 10th in the championship at the moment. No Jack Hart here this weekend. Jack has been racing in the European Talent Cup, the Scotsman, as Cade Fervet goes back through again, and Jake Clark has moved up into second as well. So Matt Bauer down into third place for now. Fervet leads, then coming through and around the bomb hole. This will be interesting to see when we get around Coram and into Murray's. Just want to see the difference in acceleration coming out of the final corner, as around the outside there, Jake Clark, oh, he had a bit of a warning there and a wobble from the front end, and now he's decided, I'll just stick in second. Let's see what happens on the start-finish straight then. They're all in tow. Cade Fervet got some decent exit there, so what is the top speed difference? Because Fervet definitely got the better acceleration. It looks like on top end, the Aprilia's, there's not a lot in that. I mean, the fact that Fervet is able to get past on the back straight anyway tells you that there's not a lot of difference. So it's a slipstreaming game here. The top three all trying to find a way through. Any one of these boys at the moment could be victorious. Cade Fervet in the championship has missed a round, so he's got some points to make up. Matt Bauer, as mentioned already, third overall, so this would really help him as he tries to make a move. Jake Clark there in third place, is fifth overall in the championship. Braking hard into the back straight and into Brundle corner. Fervet there, just content to stay where he is. Franco Bourne, by the way, who we saw at the opening round at Brands Hatch on the 125 Aprilia, struggling a bit here at Snetterton. He's just in and around the top 10 at the moment with Max Lofthouse. Two names that you would expect to see fighting at the sharp end, as we see here Lawrence Edgley having a scrap with Charlie Farrer, the championship leader on the Kawasaki. So Matt Bauer leads onto the start-finish straight. Another lap ticked off. These guys lapping in the 129s at the moment. Believe it or not, the Thundersport Superteen lap record has been beaten. And that has stood for some time. Joe Thompson was the lap record holder there, as we see that number 8, Cameron Hall, has gone through. Now, in conditions like this, it is surprising to see the lap records go. That'll be encouraging for Dave Stewart, for Sid and everyone that has come up with the idea of the Thundersport Superteens to see a lap record going. At the front there, Matt Bauer it is that still leads from Fervet and Jake Clark. All three of these guys, in fact, are all sort of in those low 129s. Been coming now to the Snetterton 200 circuit for how long? 4 or 5 years? And that lap record by Joe Thompson then finally beaten. Further back again, a decent scrap here between Mitchell Sell, number 44, and Cameron Hall. These guys are just inside the top 8. There is Matt Bauer still leading from Fervet, and Jake Clark in third. Clark doesn't want to make any mistakes here, because there's just a tenth or two's difference between himself and the guys up ahead. A look over the shoulder there from Matt Bauer. What was he expecting to see, having been tussling with Cade Fervet? Oh, Fervet there, out of the seat, coming around Coram Curve, and that would have been a heart and mouth moment. And that gives a huge advantage now to Matt Bauer. Jake Clark has capitalised, he moves through. But Fervet there, almost exited scene on the right. Further back, we see a change again as Charlie Farrer, the championship leader, finds a way past the Yamaha there of Lawrence Edgley. Now into Richie's corner, Fervet looking aggressive. You just get the feeling at the moment that Fervet would be pretty disappointed if he was to end up on the last step on the podium here. But it is Bauer that leads, and if he puts it together a decent lap here, he might just be able to break the toe of the chasing pack, including Clark and this number 7, Cade Fervet. Onto the Bentley straight we go. Further back there we see Max Lofthouse, number 24, having a decent scrap with Luke Fervet, his brother at the moment on for a podium, but this would be a good race for Luke Fervet if he can finish inside the top 8. So, yeah, that is worked out very well. Fervet has passed Clark, and in turn it's allowed Matt Bauer to just stretch out a lead of over a second. He's again having a look over his shoulder, so he's either just a bit twitchy or he's not got a pit board, so he's using that particular part of the circuit to have a good look over his shoulder as Farah continues here in 5th place. Just up ahead of Farah, by the way, as he looks like he almost went onto the graph there, is Scott Ogden on his Kawasaki, so he's up inside the top 5, so some points available to him. But Matt Bauer there is going to be really tough to catch now, because he's lapping in the low 129s, but Fervet and Jake Clark, the moments that they've had on circuit and their overtakes on each other has allowed Bauer to get through, so Bauer would have to make a mistake. Another change here between the Yamaha and the Kawasaki as Edgley goes through on Farah, but Farah then outbrakes him again into turn 1. Good stuff there from these two. There is Lofthouse once more. Lofthouse has found a way past Cameron Hall. Mitchell Searle in there as well. Here is Farah, just going a bit wide there into Montreal. Bit of a wide sweeping line. See what the differences are in speed of the Yamaha and the Kawasaki as they go side by side. Edgley definitely had the power on a bit earlier. Just all the way through, doesn't look like there's an awful lot of difference in speed between these bikes. It really is impressive to see, because when they were originally all produced, these motorcycles, they were not produced to necessarily compete against one another. But there's not a lot in it. That 450R has been such a clever invention. Of course, it is a 450 Aprilia that has been converted and restricted half the horsepower, and it just seems to be working a treat at the moment. Onto the start-finish straight we go. This is the battle still for second between Fervet and Jake Clark. There is Scott Ogden in 4th place, the rookie for this season, and the last lap flag is out. Matt Bauer then just got one more lap here at Snetterton, and again a look over the shoulder. That's a habit he's going to have to try and cut out over time. You see it a lot with the youngsters coming into racing. Doesn't aid you in any way looking over your shoulder, because sometimes you might see something you don't want to see. Onto the back straight we go then. Fervet and Clark look like they could potentially change positions, but elsewhere the top 5 look pretty sorted at the moment. I say that, but Farah and Edgley have been embroiled in a decent battle. Scott Ogden's on for a safe 4th. So Matt Bauer, all things being well, should hang on to victory here, which would be excellent for his championship. There he is. He's just coming up on that Liam Bassett, I think, on the KTM to put a lap on him. And here's the battle now for second place. Fervet there with Jake Clark all over him. Up the inside there, potentially into Coram Curve as well. Bauer it is that leads, and in the background we're going to see them side by side. Bauer's going to take the win here, but both Clark and Fervet are side by side. Let's wait for them now, and Clark has got through, and Fervet has been mugged on the final lap. Unless he can get in the slipstream, I don't think he's quite close enough. It will be tight. Matt Bauer takes a brilliant win, 25 points. These two are side by side, but it is Jake Clark who just gets that second place finish. Cade Fervet on this occasion will have to settle for 3rd, but great to see that the Aprilias and KTMs have come back fighting in this championship that had been until now dominated by the Kawasaki 300s. Those two green machines finished in 4th and 5th respectively, so Ogden 4th, Farah in 5th place, and Lawrence Edgley there in 6th overall. There you see your top 3 then in the Superteens. Matt Bauer the winner from Jake Clark and Cade Fervet. Race 2 coming up in just a few moments here from Snetterton. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Snet. Thundersport Superteens on the grid. Matt Bauer, the race winner earlier on, number 78, didn't put a foot wrong all race. Cade Fervet and Jake Clark here that you see. Good battle for second place. In the end, the number 13 got one over the number 7. There is Cade Fervet, Team XG group on that KTM. So here we go then. Let's see what we've got. Matt Bauer, thumbs up from him as well. This really will close up the championship. Keep an eye further back for Charlie Farrer, of course, on the Kawasaki. Ogden as well. To the lights, they go out, and away we go. Good start for both the Aprilias there, in particular Matt Bauer on pole position. Number 78 will surely get the whole shot here. Cade Fervet did not get away quite so well. Lawrence Edgley on the Yamaha is going to be in 4th place as well, number 97, so good stuff from him. So the top 3 through turn 1 were the top 3 in race 1. Will it stay that way? Bit of a wide line there from Ogden on the Kawasaki, but it is Fervet that has the advantage. No, sorry, Fervet is going up the inside of Jake Clark, and a couple of wide lines, particularly, oh blimey, a bit of contact there from number 8 at Cameron Hall and 44 Mitchell Searle as they now make their way onto the Bentley Straight. Matt Bauer, it should be, that still just has the advantage out front, and does. Fervet is in 2nd, then Clark, then Edgley. 19 Ogden and Farrer make their way past Lawrence Edgley on the back straight. So it's normal services resumed here for Matt Bauer. Earlier on, the guys behind were tripping each other up, trying to find a way closer to Matt Bauer. They can't afford it this time, although, look at that. Cade Fervet has already got a bit of an advantage in 2nd over the group in 3rd, and it looks like the Kawasaki's up there in 3rd now as well. It is. So we've got Aprilia, KTM and Kawasaki, a 1, 2, 3. Farrer, storming first lap, it has to be said, and really getting on terms with things now. Thumbs up from I can only imagine that they are with Charlie Farrer, given the fact they had Kawasaki jackets on. I'm pretty sure he's going as fast as he can right now, as they wave him along the start-finish straight. But it has been a brilliant first lap for the championship leader coming into this weekend. He's 3rd there as they went across the line. Matt Bauer it is that leads. Farrer now up into 2nd, past Cade Fervet. So I don't know what Farrer has had for lunch, but let's have some of it because it is working very well for him. A much better start for him. And let's keep an eye on the lap times, because earlier on this race we saw him into the 29s, but it was cooler. There were still a couple of damp patches on circuit. It's not exactly warmer this afternoon for race 2, but it's certainly a completely dry circuit now as Matt Bauer rounds the bomb hole. Charlie Farrer in 2nd is closing. This is a really good couple of first laps there for Farrer. Further back is number 87, Jake Hopper, on that JH Racing Aprilia 125. That distinctive sound, of course, of the old production 125 two-stroke. Onto the start-finish straight we go, and Matt Bauer here is coming under threat immediately, and it is Farrer once more who will, I'm sure, again get waved on pit lane by his crew and family. Oh, blimey. That is not the line you want to take around Murray's there. Unfortunately, Cameron Hall, well, he nearly fell over at Montreal on the opening lap. He's having a bit of a mare here. He just needs to settle down in the opening stages of this race. Into turn 1 we go, and Ritchie's. And Farrer, number 102, closes down on Matt Bauer, who has a look over his shoulder again. You can only lose time by doing that. You know he's there, so now time to get your head down. In 3rd place is still Fervet. Can he close up to this group? Onto the back straight, and that was a good exit from Chapman Curve there by Charlie Farrer. Might just give him enough for some slipstream. Further back there is Franco Bourne. We saw doing an excellent job on that Aprilia at Brands Hatch, the opening round of the season. In 4th place is the Kawasaki of Scott Ogden, by the way, behind Fervet, but all over the back of Matt Bauer now is Charlie Farrer, trying to find a way past the Aprilia. Seen so far this weekend the Aprilia and the Kawasaki side by side on each other, so let's see where the advantages and disadvantages come. A couple of KTMs further back, we see there Mitchell Searle just behind Luke Fervet. Bauer still just edging it, but on to the start finish straight, and a warning there for Matt Bauer, just a bit eager on the throttle. Rear tyre kicks out a bit, and that allows that allows Charlie Farrer past, who it then looks like is being told to calm down now when he went into the lead. So not exactly sure what the signals are. I can't imagine he's really paying attention to what's going on pit wall at the moment. He is trying to find a way past Matt Bauer. Further back there is Luke Vervey trying to go up the inside of Lofthouse, then Mitchell Searle and Lawrence Hedgley just struggling in the opening stages of this race, having got himself up into the top 6 earlier on. Here is onto the back straight then Farrer. He will get the slipstream here. This will be enough to surely put him side by side with Matt Bauer down into Brundle. There is Lofthouse. Different lines again from the KTMs and from the Aprilias. Not going to miss Max Lofthouse's numbers, that's for sure. The biggest number 2 and number 4 I think I've seen on a motorcycle at this level. Farrer then, it is, trying to get on terms with Bauer, but look who's joining the party. Cade Vervey, on these last few laps, has just been sitting there watching, and Scott Ogden as well in 4th place. We could be in for some scrap here between 3 different manufacturers, which is exactly what we want to see. There is Mitchell Searle once more. These guys are all just fighting it out at the moment for a place inside the top 6, but this is the battle. Look at this. Matt Bauer then leads from Farrer. There's Cade Vervey on the KTM. Brilliant drive out of the last corner there for Vervey. And these two at the front have got company. It's a change again there as Luke Vervey goes back past Max Lofthouse again. Scott Ogden has done well to get into this group, and I tell you what, the top 4 here all not just under the lap record, but demolished the lap record. Earlier on, a 29.2, the new lap record was set. They're all in the low 128s here, so they are all on the money. This is the battle further back then. Luke Vervey leading that. At the back of the group is Lawrence Hedgley. Then it's Franco Bourne in 10th place. And then we should have Jake Hopper behind as well. But out front, it is Matt Bauer that leads from Cade Vervey. So Farrer's dropped all the way back to 4th, having led this race a little while ago. In 3rd place now is Ogden. And on that last lap, Ogden put in the fastest lap of the race, the new lap record of 28.048. 1.3 seconds quicker than the old lap record that we saw. And there's a change again there as Vervey manages to get his way through. Nice stuff there from the South African as he moves into 1st place, ahead now of Matt Bauer, and here comes Scott Ogden as well. Brilliant block pass there into Murray's from Scott Ogden, and that might just wake up Farrer as well. Matt Bauer looks to retaliate immediately. He's saying stay on the tail. I don't think that's going to work with a couple of Kawasaki's, Matt. You're going to have to get your gloves off here. Cade Vervey will be only too happy to roar off at the front. Further back, Lofthouse again has managed to get back past Vervey, who thinks about a move around the outside, and that was ambitious, too ambitious in fact. Mitchell Searle comes charging through underneath. He was never going to get that stopped, and unfortunately tries to use Max Lofthouse as a berm going into the final corner. It doesn't work. Lofthouse rejoins. Mitchell Searle is out of the race. That will have allowed Luke Vervey into some clear air out front. He'll now try and find some way of chasing Jake Clark down, who we've not seen feature in this race, strangely enough. Of course, he was on the podium in race 1. He's not here. One of these 4 will surely be on the podium, and it's all changed again. Ogden leads now from Matt Bauer as they head into Brundle. Flick right to Nelson and up towards the bomb hole. Charlie Farrer, who looked so strong in the opening few laps, now just fading a bit here. Scott Ogden got the bit between his teeth. Vervey there takes advantage of a door being left open from Matt Bauer, but Matt Bauer's got a lot of speed around the outside into Coram Curve. Vervey manages to go back through on him again, and on the brakes now down into Murray's is still Ogden. Kawasaki from KTM, from Aprilia, from another Kawasaki. Brilliant racing here in the Superteens. It's been some time, hasn't it, that since we've seen racing like this in the Superteens. Championships that have been dominated the last few years by a number of different candidates. Well, not this year. This is proper. Tough to call who's got the advantage. Vervey, of course, lost out on 2nd place in race 1. Will he have learned from his mistakes? Matt Bauer looks quick, but just every now and again is leaving that door open. Here's a very lonely race from Jake Clark in 4th. Then it's Furvey, it's Luke Furvey, further back in 5th place. Sorry, 6th place. And then Lawrence Edgley on the Yamaha, who's regrouped somewhat in this race. Then Max Lofthouse, who of course had to take a bit of action onto the grass. Then Franco Bourne. Behind Franco Bourne will be Cameron Hall and Jake Hopper. But out front, it's anyone's for this second Thundersport Super Teen race as Furvey does it on the brakes there for Matt Bauer. Bauer looks for a way through, and also you've got there Scott Ogden, who has a big look over his shoulder and sees Charlie Farrer. It's going to be pretty tactical here going into the last lap. You might not want to actually lead going on to the final lap here unless you can make a breakaway. But Cade Furvey, last couple of laps has looked really strong. The South African on the KTM has the advantage from Matt Bauer. The two Kawasaki's mid-corner speed looks brilliant. Farrer and Ogden then slipstreaming. They're about to go side by side. They're going to have to try and work together here, the two 300 Kawasaki riders. I'm not really sure what these finger-pointing malarkey is going on. But the last lap flag is out anyway. Cade Furvey, the moment in charge. Matt Bauer in second, the race 1 winner. He's got the racecraft, but then we've seen the racecraft from the other two Kawasaki's as well. They are going to have to inch closer though if they're to have a say in this, because Furvey on the power on the back straight is very good. Nice bit of riding there just on the exit of Chapman though from Ogden, and they are going to get a chance here. They're all closing up on each other into the slipstream. The final time they head down the Bentley straight. Here comes Ogden, pulls out of a double slipstream. Bauer takes to the front. Furvey might just have lost it here on the final lap as we go down into Brundle and then Nelson. Late on the brakes though for Furvey. Matt Bauer did the job. Brilliant move from the race 1 winner. Charlie Farrer can't quite be counted out just yet. Here we come up towards the bomb hole for the final time. Bauer's still got it, but Furvey's was shown in the past. He's quick into Coram Curve. He has a look up the inside. Will it work out? Oh, it's mighty close here. And he has. He's gone up the inside there of Matt Bauer. Here comes the Kawasaki charging there of Ogden. This is close. Oh, it's a bit too close, and they all whack each other. Bauer out of the saddle as well. Farrer comes through. Drama here on the final lap. How have they all stayed upright? Cade Furvey doesn't even know it's happened. He keeps his head tucked under and he takes the win. Second for Bauer, and it's third for Ogden. Farrer in 4th. By far the best Super Teen race that we have seen at Thundersport for a good 2 or 3 years. And a brilliant win for South African there at Cade Furvey. If he'd have had rear view mirrors then, he would have seen some mighty action going on into the final corner. I cannot believe how they all stayed up. But that is the result. Furvey the winner on the KTM 390 from Matt Bauer on the Aprilia 450R. Then the two Kawasaki 300s of Ogden and Farrer. Jake Clark 5th, Luke Furvey in 6th. Brilliant racing, great win. Furvey the winner there ahead of Bauer and Ogden. This is what it does to the championship then. Bauer leads. He takes it ahead of Charlie Farrer. Ogden is 3rd, Jake Clark 4th, Bourne in 5th, and Jody Fieldhouse in 6th. Proper racing here at Snetterton in the Thundersport Super Teens. More of that, please, when we head to Lincolnshire and Cadwell Park for round 4.